everyone, this is Sally McFadden. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Huntsville, Alabama. I am so happy that you've stopped by my studio today. I wanted to work with the Gathering Together collection of products today. And you know, sometimes I think we get hung up that we have to use the whole suite collection or we have to buy the whole suite collection. And sometimes that is just not in our price point, or it's just more than what we feel that we need at the time. Or maybe we just don't love every product in the suite collection, and that's okay. Stampin' Up! Does a great job of casting a wide net to catch a lot of crafters and their preferences and things they like and things they don't like, or messy crafters, or only simple stampers, or people who only like avid projects. They just have a wide variety of people here in the community, and I think they do a pretty nice job of trying to accommodate things for all of us to use and enjoy. I did not buy everything in the collection. I liked the paper, I liked the stamp set, but I didn't love the dies, so I didn't buy those. And so I just wanted to work with some things that I purchased, and some of the things I did use like in the theme as it was intended for the suite, but other things I didn't really, and that's okay too. And we're going to take one example and remake it today in a whole different light. So I wanted to show you the versatility of especially our designer series papers. They always just shine through. So join me as I put the camera to the desktop and we get started on today's project. I am going to begin by showing you the designer series paper. That is what I fell in love with first, and I'm going to show you 3 sheets at a time just because there's a lot going on. You get 12 sheets in the package, so 2 of each design. These are similar, but they're different. This one has the basic beige background. These 2 are white. This one has your really traditional autumnal look to it, I feel. It's got the Cajun craze, crushed curry, the early espresso, and the gold. This one has basic beige here and white and early espresso and the Cajun craze, but it does not have the crushed curry. This one has like all the colors, but adding in this green, and that green is Old Olive. Although it looks a little bit brighter to me than Old Olive in this paper, but you know, Old Olive is our friend and it goes with it gets along with everyone. So that's one of my favorite Stampin' Up! Colors. But these are these patterns, and it's a specialty because it has this gold foiling in it. So, and then on the back side, these are just nice. While this has a leaf kind of image on the back, it would be for all year. It would just be a neutral pattern as far as I'm concerned. And these 2 here are in basic beige. And this is the Cajun craze. Now these 3 patterns, I think just are for all year, any occasion. And we're going to use, I'm going to show you these prints today. I think I use them in every one of my cards. But I just love the gold foiling. I love gold on a card. It just warms it up. It just brings it to life. I love that. But then I love these too. Now this definitely kind of has a fall feel to it, but I would hope that we could, you know, work with it in smaller quantities, maybe on cards throughout the whole year, and they would be fine. I could see you putting some nice florals with this. I'm not a super big Cajun craze person, but I do love it in this print. And then our early espressos, we always can use those. So we are going to use this one today. The stamp set is also one of the things that I loved out of this collection of products, and it's called Gathering Moments. And I love these small little images. I love these little background kind of dimension stamps, and I love the greetings. Now, like I say, I did not buy the dies. I thought they were too large for what I would probably use them with. I thought they would be great for memory keeping or scrapbooking. That just wasn't what I planned on doing with this paper anyway. So I just decided to get the stamp set. And then you just fussy cut these out. And it was no big deal. I stamped a whole bunch, cut them out one evening watching television. And that's normally kind of what I do, is I just stamp a whole bunch. For these ones, I just started by pulling the colors out of the designer series paper and did that while we were watching a show one evening, and it was fast. I find it relaxing, enjoyable. I know some people hate it, but I thought it was really fun. We had these packages of the old early espresso and old olive. I'm not sure whether they called this twine or linen thread. I think they called it linen thread. And anytime I get the opportunity to purchase linen thread or twine that is colored, I take that and go with it, because you can use that just all year round for things. And I know we can always color our basic ones, but it's just one less step to do when you don't have to do that. Let me show you my first card. And I would also say that there are embellishments in this collection as well. And I should also mention that this collection is an online exclusive, so you will not find it in the Fall Mini catalog. I had to look it up because, to be honest, I may be a demonstrator, but I can tell you we all struggle with it too. If you struggle with what's online and what's in a publication, you are not alone. But I did not get the embellishments that came with this collection. I didn't love them. They're Cajun Craze in gold. They're pretty. But as I said, I don't use Cajun Craze very often, except for my fall cards. And so I just thought, it takes a while to go through a pack of embellishments. So I decided to use something gold. And did you know that on our website, you can go in that search bar and just put gold in, and it'll bring up everything that's gold, or crushed curry, or Cajun Craze, or what have you, whatever color you're working on your project that day. You can search there and see what all might coordinate. And sometimes we also like to go off the beaten path and do things that don't coordinate necessarily, or just aren't the first choice that would pop to somebody's mind. So you might just look at your color wheel or something and come up with a color and think, what do we have to work with in that color? So don't forget to use that tool. It's really, really useful to me, I know. But we have so many gold products. I like these because they're flat. These are called the Flower Accents. And they are $8.50 for the package of embellishments. I thought they're nice. They're flat for mailing especially. But I just used the designer series paper for this cute little fun fold. And like I say, I just fussy cut these out. And it had those sweet sentiments. I just love those. But this little acorn just kind of holds that closed, and it just opens and exposes that cute inside. So I thought that one was fun. This card is probably my favorite. It is probably a little bit labor intensive. So maybe only give this to the people that you really, really love. But I thought it was a fun one to do. There are a couple different ways you can do this. I put this piece up on dimensionals, and then I put these on with glue dots. You could also use liquid glue if you're less messy than me. But I just went along and tucked these and just kind of played with them to get them how that I wanted them. And I just used this kind of like an embellishment on this card. And then some of that old olive twine, I wrapped around it and tied the bow. And then I put this down then after I already did that part. And I just realized I'd have no envelopes for these. I will have to do that after we're finished. And just one of these little background stamps and a leaf. Like I say, I just made a bunch of them, and then I had them for the insides and the outsides. And I think I think this is Timid Tiger. I think I threw in some Timid Tiger on this one. Next I went off script. This is not a fall card. I was thinking wedding anniversary, It could be a goodbye card for a neighbor that's leaving and you're wishing them well in their new endeavor or what have you. But I just used some gold foil paper and layered these up. I did some embossing, some heat embossing, and I love this ribbon, and I used that, but it is out of stock and it's not going to come back in until like February. So, but like I say, search gold or search for another color that you could I could have used white. We have other things with gold in them, so that was not concerning to me that is out of stock currently. I'm sure you have something in your stash probably already that you can use. And then again, I just decorated the inside very simply with a scrap of designer series paper that I had left over and just another leaf that I had embossed and cut out. But this is definitely not a fall card, and it came from that paper. I mean, it has this in the background, but it doesn't scream and jump out at you that it's fall. So I thought that was really pretty. We are going to make this fun fold, I believe, on my next video. I thought it was a really fun little fun fold, and it is a great way to showcase your designer series paper. And it just opens this way. It's really, really fun. So I layered up some different things here, and I used the early espresso twine on this card. And then that brings me to this card, which is super, super simple. But I loved it. It just, like I say, that paper shines. It literally shines in this case with the gold on it. But I thought that it was beautiful. And these tags, we have a couple different types, and we're going to use one today. But they're great to, if you don't want to die cut something, but you could substitute in any shape, any die, small, large, what have you. This is just a good basic card, and that's why I wanted to do it with you today. And then this one I just stamped directly on the inside, and your friendship means the world to me. So while I love this card, I thought, let's change it up a little bit. Maybe you're done making your fall cards and you just wanted to make a card for another reason, but maybe you had some of this paper left. Here we go. I found our little embellishments. They are the flower accents. 165171 is the number, but I thought those were really, really fun to work with. I don't know that we're going to use them today. I'm going to play that by ear. So I have cut things ahead. It's going to hopefully be quick and easy. I have a basic beige card base. I'm going to move this out of the way for now just to give us some room. And let's just take our card base and fold it in half. And I think this was one that I had cut in my stash, and it looked like maybe my trimmer blade needed to be changed whenever I cut that. So I have two pieces of designer series paper, and they are both 2 inches wide. One might be slightly wider than the other one. Yes. But you know, that's okay. I like things when I work this way to be a little larger, and then I can cut them down if I want to, or I don't have to. It doesn't really matter. Although I did purposely size mine a little larger today. I have a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of basic white. And I like to layer mine on this. You could keep these the full length and put them right on your card front. You could do that as well. But I like to do it on this piece. Then it also gives you the opportunity, like, do I want to pop it up with dimensionals? Do I want to put it on flat? It just gives you a few more choices. And I just think it's a little bit easier to work with. That way, oh, I hate to cover this up. That's so pretty. But let's just put some glue on. We're going to put this piece down first. And I know that this is large, so I am not going to put glue the whole way to the top. But I like the liquid glue because we can slide it, and tap it and all the things, even though because of this piece of paper, we can remedy things that go astray if we need to. So even that one just needs to go over just a smidge. So there we go. Now, like I say, this one piece is a little bit higher. I could always just, pop it right on top of there and call it that way. But I think that I will, and since we know the space we're working in here, I'm just going to put some liquid glue here, and that would be beautiful as well. But I was just trying to kind of keep this neutral today and show you that those leftover pieces, even though it's maybe fall or Christmas paper, you can use that all year long, and then you're not feeling like you're wasting things. Especially, like, I only try to show product that isn't retired, but I still use it for my own personal cards sometimes. And if you're not a demonstrator, you just are going to have this all the time, and you're not confined by that guideline. So over here, then this is a little bit bigger. So let's just pull up my paper trimmer. Sorry for the bangs and the clangs there. I'm not worried about this little smidge here. Let's start here. I'll just line up that edge of the trimmer and do it that way. Just get the big, and then it just makes sure it's even, but that little 1/8 of an inch isn't probably going to matter too much. And there, I got that one a little closer, and I could go back and cut this one again if I wanted to, but I don't feel we need to be that precise. I'm just going to take my fingernail or my bone folder and then smooth this out. Just because sometimes when you're working with layers that are thick, and you've got cardstock and this paper together, and depending on how new or old your blade is on your trimmer, you may just have to smooth that out for a minute. And then on this card, I did just put it straight down, and I'm trying to decide, do I want to put it, let's just go off the path a little bit, and let's pull in some dimensionals. And let's just put a few on here. We'll just do things a little bit differently and show you how the same layout can just look a little bit different. Are you a dimensional person? Do you like dimensionals? I like dimensionals. If I'm going to put work on something, I don't want them sagging, so I'm not generally that person that only uses 2 dimensionals. Boy, these dimensionals are very tight on the back. We'll just get those off. And put those to the wayside. I'm not going to push this down till I kind of look at it. Ooh, that's very crooked. You know, when you're trying to do this so that everyone can see, it's not always the way you would normally do it. Generally, if you can line up 3 sides, that 4th side will line itself up pretty well. So here is this one that it is popped up, and it's just going to add that shadow underneath here. And I thought this was, I don't know, I feel like it's a masculine card, but yet it's not a masculine card. I have a lot of people who like nature that are women and a lot of friends, so there's that. We have two different sets of these tags and things that have the gold on them. One is called A Touch of Gold Tags Mix and Match Specialty Ephemera 165355. And I think one's in a catalog and one's in online. And this one is Foiled Frames and Labels Ephemera Pack 165616. And to be honest, I think it's from this one, but I can't tell you. Mine have kind of gotten mixed together. So I'm not sure which pack it came from. So I picked this one. Let's just pop that little Chad out of there. And we have choices again. Do we want to pop it up? Do we want to leave it flat? I might just lay it on here for now because, well, I am definitely going to lay it here first because we're going to cut something off the sides. But I could either have this gold showing, or what I was thinking is I'm going to cover it up. But you could use one of those arch dies and do the same thing if you didn't want to waste the tag that has the gold on it because you may be covering it up. You could also do that. That would work just perfectly. I am not sure what sentiment I want to put on here. This could be a thinking of you. This could be any of these greetings for fall. It could be a birthday card. I don't have it out here, but I may remake this card. I need a sympathy card for a gentleman. And wouldn't this just be a pretty one for this time of year? It doesn't scream anything. It's calm. It's serene. I like that. I will probably redo that. Oh, I love this. Your friendship means the world to me. But probably the cards I'm sending are going to be from both my husband and I, so it would need to say us. I think we'll go with this one. My block is dirty. It even has a glue dot hanging on it. So let's bring in the early espresso. Let's kind of keep it tonal. It's not monochromatic, but it's tonal. My guess it is. I guess that could be considered monochromatic. They're all browns. And I think that's just barely going to fit on there, but we're going to do it. This way, before I waste my die cut or anything, if it doesn't stamp right, and I don't even love that, but I think we're going to keep it. But you know what? The back side of this doesn't look too bad. Sometimes you get those tags and it looks like, things that you've punched out of ephemera look a little rough around the edges on the back. Let's do this since we're covering up that gold anyway. Let's give it another try. And I'll just make sure I give those parts a little more pressure. Yeah, that's better. And it was no harm, no foul. If it didn't work out, we could still have used the front. And then we're just going to pop this on. But like I say, we could have done it on the front with the gold and you wouldn't have known the difference. It was not shining through. So we don't want to overdo our glue, especially anywhere where there's holes. But I just thought, what this would make a great birthday card if you have a man or woman. I'm not going to judge or put people in a box that are deer hunters. It could be a great birthday card for them. It could be a card saying, I hope you have a great deer hunting season and you have a lot of fun. You could find whatever sentiment you wanted for that. I know a lot of friends that, it is they are about hunting season, like maybe I am about Christmas. So there you go. Now we could pop this up also. We could leave it down flat. I kind of like it flat. Since we do have one dimensional layer, now our other one, like I say, we left this flat and we popped up the greening or the tag layer. Sorry, not the tag layer, the embellishments. But I want to put this on and this one's easy. It's just everything is kind of centrally based. It's just one of those, if you need a quick card and you don't know where to start, that's a great place. It's just a nice basic thing. Now, let me pull this back in. Love this ribbon. It probably wasn't the vibe I was going for on this card, but since it's sold out anyway, or, currently not available, I am going to use something else over here. And this is going from kind of a formal looking card to a very nature kind of looking card, or just a very, this isn't chaotic looking, but this is very calming, I feel like, and this has a little more going on. And we have a couple options. I took some of this basic beige ribbon. We could just do something there, but I thought it needed a little bit something else. So I just took 2 pieces of this, and I could even kind of jostle this so one is a bit longer than the other, except I think I'm pulling on the same one here. No, I guess I've got it there. And maybe they would stay apart a little bit more. I like them kind of being apart. Let's just take a glue dot, or sometimes 2. It just depends on what we need to do to make this bow behave the way we would like it to. And this almost even fits perfectly in that hole. And I am just going to do that. And it kind of, if you can spread it apart a little bit to where that glue catches each a little part of that, then I think that's really a special thing that it just makes it a little more ruly. Let's see. And this doesn't have to be anything exact, but I just thought it added a little bit of something. And I can trim this one maybe up a little bit. But I still like it. I like that movement in there, that little longer length. It just kind of ties it all together. But it's just a fun layout. I hope that you can think of something that you could use. This would be a great mass-produce-it Christmas card situation. There you go. They're the same, but very different. And which do you like better, this or that? Let me know in the comments. I think to me, it just depends on what the occasion is. I like them both. I love them both. I really, really, really love gold on a card. But I also love this one too. It's just, like I say, it's peaceful. It's a little serene for me. So I like that one. And I will just make up, and by the way, this deer comes from the other fall set. This one is in the catalog. This is the Autumn Trees. Let me pull it out of here in case there's a glare. The Autumn Trees dies, and it's just this. And so it could be any color. You could put a tree on there. This one would be pretty large for that situation, but you could make it work. You could just make your center layer bigger, and that you're going to anchor that to. It just shows you a few other products, and just don't throw away your paper when it's, you think, oh, I can't use it anymore. It's not fall. I don't think that's the case at all. I think that you can just take this and do something really beautiful and meaningful with it. And isn't that the purpose of why we make cards, is to send joy to someone? So you can always make something work, I think. So we have all of our cards back out here, and I hope that they make you smile. They make me smile, and when we send them to others, it will make them smile. As always, remember to be kind, send a card, and do something creative. Bye-bye.